What's up, gangsters? And well, I figured it's time to catch up with our undisputed all-time favorite filmmaker, Harmony Korine. And in case you're asking yourself, fine, but who the hell is this Harmony Korine girl you keep going on about? Well, I already made a whole video covering his 5 feature-length movies, where I also made that exact same joke. So check out that video first for some context, if you haven't already. If you don't want to do that, first of all, fuck you. Secondly, all you really need to know is that he sort of made a name for himself by, not really giving a fuck while making his movies. He's always just done what he himself wanted without being too, concerned with cinematic norms. But then, seemingly out of nowhere, at least I had no idea, earlier this year he came out with a new movie, The Beach Bum, riddled with big name actors. So I was like, what? Let's take a look at that. Matthew McConaughey stars as Moondog, a hedonistic poet who doesn't give a fuck, just hanging around in southern Florida with the local bottom feeders, smoking weed and drinking his Pabst Blue Ribbon! And he has his lifestyle secured by the wealth of his wife, Ela Fisher's Minnie. Perhaps partly inspired, at the very least in name, by the actual Moondog, the fascinating blind musician and poet who made some fantastic early minimal music. With Harmony Korine being a man of culture. So, Moondog, the type of guy to read his own work and just loving it, he's just doing his thing, but then all of a sudden his lifestyle gets threatened, and then he just keeps doing his thing, the end. Well, it's not a bad premise, right? But this is also where it gets a little confusing. See, the fact that this is a Harmony Korine movie, a movie by the same guy who did Gummo, Julian Donkey Boy, Trash Humpers, I don't know, I just can't help but to expect, or at the very least look for something a little extra, like read into it more. But, spoiler alert, I don't think there is anything more. So, it's just a stoner comedy. That's fine, right? And despite not finding it all that funny, at the very least, it is a lot of fun. If that makes sense. Although, when Moondog arrives at his daughter's wedding and crashes this older lady into a wall, I admittedly kind of chuckled. But yeah, it's fun. Mostly the characters. McConaughey is seemingly having a blast with his role. Ela Fisher, I like. Although I mostly only know her from Arrested Development Season 4 and 5. And Wedding Days? What? I love Jonah Hill, but what is up with that accent?
Like I said, I'm not offended, and I just want to be clear, this doesn't have to do with the incident a few years back.
Okay. Snoop Dogg is Snoop Dogg, but he's not. He's playing a character called Lingerie, but then they are playing his music in the background, during this sort of like club setting. How does that work? And then there's show stealers like Zac Efron as whatever the hell is going on here, and Martin Lawrence, of all people, who plays this crazed dolphin tour captain. Spoiler alert, his appearance ends with this completely out of place scene involving sharks that it actually had me laughing out loud, mostly in disbelief. Like, where the hell did that come from? Yeah, I had fun with the characters, many of which, mostly Moondog himself, there are all these like larger than life, out of this world characters, not unlike James Franco's Alien from Spring Breakers. And since this movie is kind of lacking in like a traditional narrative, you kind of need these eccentric characters. Just like Harmony Korine's earlier work, The Beach Bum is very episodic, it has a bit of like this collage style filmmaking. So for example, you have the Zac Efron bit, then that happens and then that's that, never see him again. Then we go to the Martin Lawrence bit, there's that, then that's over and never see him again. And it goes like that throughout the whole movie. It just very much feels like a bunch of vignettes pieced together to make up this like feature-length movie. And that's definitely not per se a bad thing. It's just not something that you'd expect to see in a in a more traditional stoner comedy. something that does hold the whole thing together is its aesthetics. Yeah, shot on actual 35mm, you know, film by Benoit Debie. Is that how you pronounce it? The guy who shot most of Gaspar Noé's work, as well as a bunch of other stuff. For example, Lucille Hadjialilovic's Innocence, which is gorgeously shot with mostly just natural lighting. Yeah, the beach bum looks amazing. Very reminiscent of Spring Breakers, which he also shot. I mean, yeah, the guy knows how to work a camera. It's just filled with extremely colorful, well-composited shots. Add to this the occasional liquid narrative style of editing, you know, where scenes mid-conversations go from one location to the next, and you end up with this dreamlike vibe aesthetic that I also very much appreciated in Spring Breakers. In that way, the Spring Breakers and the Beach Bum, they definitely make for an interesting double feature. Oh, and the music is pretty great too. Specifically the selected songs, you know, like not per se the original soundtrack, but the songs. It's a lot of country, which normally isn't my thing, but it works surprisingly well here. Ah, the Beach Bum. I just can't help but wonder if Harmony Korine was trying to say something here with his movie. I mean, like, Moondog, he's a pretty shit person, but there's no repercussions for his actions whatsoever. If anything, he gets rewarded for it. And is he making a statement with the ending? Is it about capitalism? That always works. In the end, I'd say it is just a stoner comedy. Sure, one with a, you know, like a very specific look and feel, but that mostly is just dressing up what essentially is just a stoner comedy. Really, it's a stoner comedy to an almost cringy degree at points, where it's really like, oh, look at us smoking the big weeds. It's so edgy. I'm 16, you know. But yeah, in the end, I enjoyed it. It's not gonna be a personal favorite, that's for sure. And I just keep coming back to it, but still, the fact that it is a Harmony Korine movie, it just kind of prevents me from taking it at face value. Even though it's just a stoner comedy. But how about you guys? Have you guys seen it already? What are your thoughts on this movie, or like Harmony Korine in general? I know his work is generally like quite divisive, but I feel like this one is rather approachable, like accessible. Let me know in the comments below. Like, am I wrong? Like, is it more than just a stoner comedy? I'd love to know. So yeah, cheers guys. Have a nice day.